there are two distinct paths in life. The path of the pleasant, Preya, the path of the good, Śrēyas, path of the absolute good. An irresolute mind, to gain immediate flickers of joy, what it does, it chooses the path of pleasant. This will deny one the opportunity for greater and serene happiness. What I have done in the next slide is simply tabulated some 7 pointers. The path of the pleasant, Preya, the path of the good, Śrēya. Path of the pleasant is guided by the demands of the sense organs. Path of the Śrēya is guided by the Sukshma Buddhi, subtle intellect. There is a temporary joy in path of pleasant. It gives you instant gratification, but followed by dukham, sorrows later. The path of the good, it is unpleasant in the beginning, but provides a permanent happiness later. There is a temporary joy in path of pleasant. It gives you instant gratification, but followed by dukham, sorrows later. The path of the good, it is unpleasant in the beginning, but provides a permanent happiness later. Path of the pleasant is more alluring. It caters to an extrovert mind, while as the path of the good is perceived by an introvert mind. The path of devolution is the path of the pleasant, whereas you evolve spiritually in the path of good. Majority of human beings take the path of the pleasant. Hardly very few people appreciate and follow path of the good. And I appreciate all of you being here. This is what you want to follow. The path of the good, the Śrēya. The path of the pleasant is based on instant sense gratification, whereas path of good is based on a very sound judgment. All religions repudiate the path of the pleasant. All religions recommend the path of good, Śrēya. This is a very famous Śrēya, Preya, Viveka that is taught in our Katha Upanishad.
So we are studying the Katha Upanishad, and in response to Nachiketa's question regarding the mystery of the self, what am I? The ultimate question. What exactly, what's my real nature? Yama told him it's a difficult question, ask something else. When Nachiketa persisted, Yama gave him a range of temptations, temptation with a capital T. And Nachiketa rejected all of that. Now, Yama says that see, there are these two paths which come before every human being. The path to the ultimate well-being, ultimate welfare, that which does good to us. He calls it Śrēya. And that which is pleasant, that which is instinctive, going with the flow, which seems obvious and attractive, he calls it Preya, the pleasant. Śrēya, the good, and Preya, the pleasant. And these two come to us all the time. Now, those who take up the path of the Śrēya, the good, by which he means the spiritual path, they attain to the highest goal of human life. That is enlightenment, nirvana, freedom, moksha, spiritual liberation. Those who do not, those who take to the path of what is pleasant, they not only lose that highest goal, they don't attain liberation. But this is the tragedy. Choosing the pleasant, they end up in a very unpleasant mess, which is samsara, being whirled around in this terrible storm of births and deaths and experiences continuously of this very limited kind of animal existence in in various bodies, in various lives, and this goes on. Now the question might be, if it is true that spirituality is so great, why aren't more people, why aren't they spiritual? Why don't more people take up this path of spiritual life? And we saw in the last class, this was the mantra number 2. Shreyascha preyascha manushya meto samparitya vivinakti dhira shreyo hi dhiro abhipreyaso vrinite preyo mando yogakshemad vrinite.
Both the good, Śrēya, and the pleasant, Preya, present themselves to mankind. One who is intelligent examines them both, separates the two, and chooses the good, whereas the fool chooses the pleasant, out of concern for acquisition and preservation.
An important mantra which says, it depends on choice. One must make a deliberate choice that I am going to pursue spirituality. Like all great mystics, spiritual seekers have done from most ancient times, from the time of Yama and Nachiketa, down to us. We have made a deliberate choice. So he says, a choice has to be made. Unless one makes a deliberate choice, unless one sets out to learn, spiritual life is not possible. It's not natural. It won't come with the flow of things. So it has to be an effort from our, a deliberate, conscious choice from our side. That's why most people don't do it. Don't make this choice. They don't take this decision. Why not? He says both of these come mixed up together. They are both coming to us all the time. How do we react to life? That actually shows what we have chosen. And the dhira, the qualified spiritual seeker, the spiritual hero, this person selects, he says, Vivinakti makes a choice, differentiates them. Two things are mixed up. Vivinakti means to separate. Separates in what? In understanding. I see this path will take me where, and this path will take me where. And then I select this path. This will take me down into the world, and this will take me to enlightenment, to God, or to, whatever. So this selection is made deliberately. Shreyo hi dhiro abhipreyaso vrinite. The spiritual seeker deliberately, consciously selects the spiritual path over the path of worldliness. And the worldly person, very interesting language, yoga kshemadranite, preya mando. Clearly, Yama thinks less of the worldly person. He says the inferior one. What does that person do? Does not make a deliberate choice. Quite interesting. If you look around, it is so true. When you come for spiritual life, you deliberately do that. You make, it's a mature decision after a lot of things in life. But what about the rest of it? You know, money and relationships and material goods and partying and all of that, that's sort of going with the flow. That sort of comes instinctively to us. It's not a deliberate, considered decision. This is an important point he makes. Go with the flow. Nature, be natural. So go with the flow. Be natural is not a good thing. Nature will take you down to its own level, which is a material level. Why do we go with the flow? What happens? Yoga kshemad pranite. Yoga kshema here, I mentioned last time, the two things that people are trying to do. When you go with the flow, basically you are automatically trying to do two things. Get things, yoga, things which are attractive, nice, you would like to get that, you try to keep getting that. It could be more money, it could be more achievements, it could be praise, it could be acceptance. People of every age, gender, and every kind of learning, every kind of social status, we keep trying to accumulate these things. And kshema, whatever we have gained in life, all the things that we would like to keep them. We'd like to maintain them. My property, my relationships, my standing in society, all of this, my health, all of these have to be maintained. And nobody sees anything particularly wrong. There isn't anything particularly wrong in this. What is wrong is thinking that any of this at any point will amount to anything at all in my life. It will not give me any lasting satisfaction. So this is why answering the question, why don't more people become spiritual? Because they are swept away by this continuous drive for acquisition and preservation of worldly things. Things, people, relations, feelings. And spiritual life requires that maturity which will enable you to make a deliberate choice. I want to be spiritual. Another name for Shreyas is Nishreyas, complete Shreyas. Shreyas literally means what is good, what is high, noble, good. And Shreyas is the ultimate good. It is spiritual realization, moksha, liberation, nirvana, kaivalya. Many words are there for this. In fact, this Shreyas, moksha, was the entire project of the ancient Indian mind for thousands of years. It's something worth taking seriously. It's in this day and age, we have sort of forgotten that. It is sort of people, it's not available to young people. For young people, if they think about what can I do in life, everything that they can think of and what society teaches them, parents tell them, school teaches them, the world advertises and shows them day and night, all of that total, you take it all, it will all go into the prayers bucket, all of it. Some of it is awful, miserable, harmful. Some of it is good advice, but still worldly, this worldly. So that is prayers, the pleasant. The two are different. Shreyas and prayers are different. And they lead you to different goals. They bind you to different kinds of life. And the results are different. Different means they cannot be combined. It's an important thing to be understood. You can't have your feet on both boats. Don't worry about it. The world and family and bank balance and all will be around, but they will no longer be your goal. They cannot be your goal. You'll see very clearly that will not have any appeal for you anymore. Okay, one more distinction. It's very powerful and stark. The path of prayas, samsara, is avidya, ignorance. The path of shreyas, moksha, is vidya, the path of knowledge. The two cannot be combined. If one begins to understand what samsara is and what moksha is, you will choose moksha. There's no other way. Here, I'll just make one more point from positive psychology. You see, here, the commentator says, who is the one who selects the good and who selects the pleasurable? The one who selects the pleasurable, the commentator Shankaracharya says, Aduradarshi, the one who is not a long seer, far-sighted. Now, what does that mean? It's very interesting. It's not just for spiritual life, just for even for success in worldly life. What is necessary? For this is something interesting I had read many years ago, the experiments of Walter Mischel, and they were repeated by Philip Zimbardo. Many of us have heard of the experiment. I'll just repeat it quickly and then go ahead. The general outline of the experiment was many years ago. Walter Mischel, I think it was Princeton or Yale or somewhere here. He did this experiment with 4-year-old kids. What Walter Mischel did was he asked the child to come into the room and ask the child that, do you want actually you can see this experiment, not Walter Mischel's original experiment, but Zimbardo's experiment. This is very cute videos available on YouTube. So I can tell you that experiment. So the psychologist asks the child to come in and tells the child that, first of all, distracts the child with some question, this thing and that thing, and then as if offering a reward, but that's the real experiment, offers the child a marshmallow and says, you can eat it now, but would you want to? Every child says, yes, I want to. In that case, just wait a while. I'll go outside. Here's the marshmallow in front of you. Don't eat it now. I'll come back and then you can, I'll give you 2. I'll give you 1 more if you have not eaten it. If you eat it, that's it. Then you will not get the second one. So you'll get this marshmallow anyway. And the second one you'll get if you wait a little bit. And every child, this is important, every kid, if you see in the experiment, it's very funny. Every kid agrees immediately. I'll wait. I'll have 2. And they don't know that they're being recorded. And the psychologist leaves the room. And you can see the videos. They're very funny. The children, now for a little child, Even waiting 10 minutes is a long time, especially if he has a delicious marshmallow in front of the child. So some of the children straight away eat it. That said, they won't eat it, but they straight away eat it, and they don't get the second marshmallow.
So I'm going to give you a prize. I'm going to give you a treat. And the treat is a delicious marshmallow. But if you wait, I have to go check my car. When I come back, if you wait, you can have 2 of them. You can have 1 now, or when I come back, you can have 2. Okay? Okay.
Licking her lips. Just temptation, or just capital T. Sorry.
Hello, my dear. You ate the marshmallow. Was it delicious?
Some of the children, they wait. And those videos are very funny. And a little boy or girl looking plaintively at the door. When will the psychologist come back? Or they distract themselves. They play little games or something or the other. So all instinctive. In order to avoid the temptation of looking at the marshmallow.
So you can eat this now, but I'm going to go outside for a minute. When I come back, you can have 2 marshmallows if you wait.
Okay, I'll wait.
Do you think you could wait? Okay, we'll see. I'll be back in a minute. See.
Notice the body language is wonderful. Just totally looks away the whole time. Too hot. Little distraction.
Hello. You waited. You waited for me. Okay, so now you know what's going to happen. You're going to get a double treat. I'm going to give you 2 of these lovely marshmallows. You want to eat them now or save them for later?
I'm going to eat them now.
Okay, well, go ahead. A little sticky.
I've had marshmallow.
Some of them fail, they look at the marshmallow and eat it. Some of them succeed, they wait, and then they get the second marshmallow. Now, what is important about this little experiment? Walter Mischel and later on Philip Zimbardo also, they divided these 2 groups of children into 2 groups without telling them, just on paper. Then they followed their career. They went back some 14 years. Mischel did that. 14 years later, when the kids were about to go to high school, come out of high school, go to college, they found significant differences between these 2 groups. The group which could not withstand the temptation, and those kids who withstood the temptation. Those kids who withstood the temptation, they were able to, they were better at studies. Their SAT scores were significantly higher. They socialized better. They were seen as more dependable by parents and teachers, and they were liked better by their classmates. Those who could not restrain themselves turned out to be more impulsive, not completing the assignments, going off on a party and being easily distracted in many ways. And clear differences emerged over 14 years. And these differences are only going to get wider and larger as they go into life, into jobs and all, into marriages and all. It will be bigger and bigger differences. So this ability to control one's impulse, this was later worked by who wrote that book on EQ, emotional intelligence, the famous psychologist who designed the term, Daniel Goleman, yes. Daniel Goleman, he incorporated this into this idea of control of impulses. So that is part of emotional intelligence, the ability to withhold gratification, to postpone gratification. All of us face this, that if I put in a little more effort, if I stop enjoying, like little pleasures in life and put in the effort in my studies or in my exercise or whatever it is, I will get huge benefits in few years, but postpone that much discipline. Now, why I'm saying all this, one reason is Philip Zimbardo, he says, what the message he takes is, he says that some children have this ability to see into the future, as it were. Some are present oriented, some can, as it were, see into the future means not anything ESP or nothing like that. It's just that the reward available in the future is real for them. Whereas the other kids who are impulsive, what is the marshmallow and present in front of them? That's the only reality. The second marshmallow is too vague and not attractive enough. So they give in to the present temptation. The future achievement is not so attractive or real. They don't have the discipline or the grit to hold on till they get that result. And I was amazed to see the difference between those who select the pleasurable and those who select that which is good and beneficial. Shankaracharya, commentator, says those who see into the future, those who cannot see into the future, or they cannot make it real enough. In Sanskrit, he just uses one word, aduradarshi vimudha, fooled, deluded, because unable to see the consequences of what's going to happen. And this is true. Philip Zimbardo is not talking about, Walter Mischel is not talking about enlightenment, God realization. No. He says for success in this life, which is very much part of what one might call an enlightened preyas, a better samsara. So one thing which makes for a better samsara is this ability, this emotional intelligence. They generally can design a better life. Generally, there are many other factors. This is one point I wanted to make. So this is an important verse. What is true of trying to make a better life for yourself in this world, the discipline it takes to complete a degree, the discipline it takes to raise a family, the discipline it takes to hold a job, all of those things require a certain degree of discipline and self-control. And in spiritual life, much more so. So in spiritual life, if you want Shreyas, this quality of seeing into the future that I will get enlightenment and that will solve all of my problems, and that's real. It's a great blessing if one can think in that way. Then one will pursue this path, spiritual life. So this verse this mantra is very important. Anyat Śrēya, anyat utaiva Preya. The pleasurable and the good are different. They put you on different paths. The difference may not be so noticeable at the beginning. 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, 50 years down the line, the one who has walked on the path of spirituality, the one who has immersed himself or herself in worldliness, the difference will become very big. It will become very big. In one lifetime itself, it becomes very big. Tayo Śrēya Adadanasya, the one who selects. So conscious decision to select spiritual life. They reach the goal of human life, which is moksha. In general, also you can take this advice. Those who do not do, those who keep on going in for the pleasurable, it literally says they miss the goal. You can see, even say they miss worldly goals also. The one who gives in to pleasure seeking will miss worldly goals, will not complete assignments on time, will not do the job on time, cannot hold on to a job, cannot runs away from family responsibilities. Every kind of problem will hound the person who keeps on selecting the pleasurable over what is good, and somebody put it this way, that the difference between that which is desired and that which is desirable in the sense of good for your life. And desired means our senses, our mind, our samskaras keep on wanting.